Okay, so firstly, exactly what I said earlier. If you make sure that that's clean, there could be all bits of gasket or anything else like that, and that's nice and flat. So I did that. Here's your gasket. It's as easy as that. There is no up or down on this one. You can install this any way you want to. So I'll pop it over. You'll see it now. Next, we're going to put the bearing in on the inside. So that's the new bearing. Like I said, try not drop anything inside. If you do, it's going to be a nightmare to get it off. The new bearing is nice and tight in there, and it will rotate nicely. Now you don't want a lot of play here. If you end up with a lot of play, the engine will vibrate a lot and will eventually cause damage. So you don't want a lot of play. So let's put the piston, the pin, and I've said it a couple of times already, but I'll say it again. Make sure your orientation is right. So you put your piston over nicely there, and your pin will go in next. So you just line the two up. So arrow to the exhaust. On this particular kit, now some kits may have a dot, not an arrow, so just keep that in mind, that it may not be an arrow on your side. Okay, so my pin is in, you see that? Now I'm going to put this pin in. Now, before I do that, I'm going to actually put something in here. Like I said before, I don't want it falling inside. Falls inside, nightmare. So I'm going to put some paper in, protect it from going inside. Long nose pliers. I'm going to try this again with the pin. This can be tricky. I'm reusing the old pins from the original engine. Like I said, the pins that come with the kit are not great. I'd suggest you even buy this shape pin. Much easier to work with. I'm not saying the quality of the other one is not great, but it's just installation is a nightmare. So I'm going to try and push this in. This is probably the hardest part of the job. Now, it's in, but it's not in all the way. So, just keep twisting it until it pops in. Small flathead, and just help it along a little bit. I know you can't see that. It's very hard to show you how to pop this pin in. Now, okay, it's in. I'll take a shot from the side and I'll let you see how it looks popped in. But that's it. So cylinder over it. I might have to remove this exhaust. Might be in the way now. And we'll assemble the manifold side, stuff like that. Okay, so we have the gasket on, the pin is in, the two clips are in either side of it. So the last thing we need to do is make sure these are aligned. So that one is aligned, and the other one is not aligned. Oh yeah, okay, so that one is aligned and this one's aligned. So there they are. Now I've lubricated the piston and also the inside of the cylinder. I've put all the auxiliaries on, all the intakes and stuff like that, just to make life easier. Now, now. Now let's make sure this piston is on perfectly. So that's that one. Now you have to be very gentle with this. We don't want to damage the rings. Not lined up. If I angle these, it's very hard to see whether you are exactly lined up. You can get a little sleeve that will go over the whole thing. That oil ring, that little ring that we put on first, that's causing some hassle. Now the first one anyway. The little ring that's below seems to be pushing the piston out a little bit. Yeah, that's the second ring that's on. That is the kit, so it should go on it. Now, you see, it goes on nicely. Now, like I was saying before, the exhaust will have to go out. Oh, that's very good. That couldn't have been any better. Okay, the reason not dropping down is because I still haven't removed the exhaust. So I'll remove the exhaust from the far side, and I'll put it down. We'll put in the gasket, we'll torque the head, and then we'll get it started and see how it goes. Now we can clearly see the new piston going up and down. I'll just give it a couple of revolutions. That's nice. There's no metal sound, there's no scraping of anything. It's actually moving up nicely. So next I'm going to put on the that way. I think that's that way. No, just want to make sure that that's in correctly. It is. That's the way it goes. It's not as snug as you'd expect it to be. Let's see. Let's see a small issue there. We'll see. Apparently the original one, the original one's much, and even the way this sits. Say I'm not sure about that. Doesn't inspire confidence that you can move it as such. Let's see. Just we'll do kind of, we'll turn it by hand to make sure that it's not hitting the head. And that the head is on correctly. Looks right, but we'll just hand tighten it for the moment. Yeah. Okay, it's in nicely. Okay, that is the way it should be. So you can hear it. Oh, there's nice compression there. Okay, perfect. So last thing left, torque these, make sure they're right, put on all the covers, casings, carburetor, and we'll get going. That should be about it. Okay, next time we see this, it'll be on, the bike will be complete, and we'll try and get it started. Okay, so I'm going to tighten these head bolts now. What's important here is a good torque wrench, and just so you know that they're exactly the same. I'm going to post all the settings for the torque wrench down below the video. But the only thing I'll say about this is, when you tighten these bolts, you tighten them diagonally. Don't tighten them like this. So I've hand tightened them already, and I'll just go diagonally. Now I'll go gently around them. I don't want to tighten one really hard and then go back and tighten the other one. So I'll just go gently around and you'll see what I mean now. So you see that it hasn't clicked on any of this yet. So just going around the lock. Take your time with this. Yeah, it's about to click. No. That's it. Now they're nice and tight. Just make sure you don't over tighten these. Don't go crazy. Set your torque wrench, and just go by the torque wrench. Now, there is a kind of a theory that you should go about 15 degrees over your torque setting. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure you want to, but just don't do it freehand, because you're only going to get in trouble. You know, your seal isn't going to be perfect, and then you'll end up with losing compression at the sides. So okay, so let's continue with the assembly and see how we get on. Now I just want to quickly show you what I did. I just filed this down a little bit. This is where the exhaust goes. The exhaust manifold goes in. It's just to give it that little bit of clearance, so it doesn't melt. And then once I put a couple of spacers here, it'll just lift it that little bit off, that it's not actually sitting on the cylinder itself, on the cylinder head. And then that should be okay. The rest, the bike should do it. So okay, so let's throw this on and see how we get on. Okay, so I filed down this casing ever so slightly. We're only talking about 3 or 4 mil. That's all I filed this down, and then I lift it by the same amount up here. You see that there's a spacer here and there's a spacer here, so that's all. It's just to give that little bit, a little bit of a gap between the actual cylinder head and the exhaust. Now the next thing, which is the fun bit, is jetting. I've got a set of jets. I know what's inside here. Yours might be a little bit different, depending on what year they released and all that kind of stuff. They might have a slightly different setup. So this one here is 56. I'm going to have to bring the jet up, obviously, because it's now going to need more fuel. I'm going to start with a 62, and I'll see how I get on, and then I'll see if I have to go up and down. Now, I'm not going to change anything else. I'm not going to change the rollers. I'm going to change clutches, anything else. If you change too many things in one go, trust me, it's a recipe for disaster. Change one thing, see how you get on, adjust that. Once you get that right, then you can go off and adjust something else. If you change everything in the one go, later you don't know which is actually causing you the problems. So I'll show you how to change the main jet. Take this off. Now, there's still a little bit of fuel in it, so I'm expecting a little shower. Yeah, a little bit of fuel. That's okay. That's to be expected. If there was no fuel, you'd be surprised. Now, the main jet. I did another video. Now I've already cleaned this carb with carb cleaner. The only thing I would say is if you're using carb cleaner, don't use it on the bike. Bring it on a bench. It does take paint off. So there's the main jet, this one here. This is your choke, and this is your pilot jet. The pilot jet brings you from idle to about quarter throttle, and this takes it from that quarter throttle up. So this is the one we want to change. This is my 56. So I'm just going to take that out. Now I know what that is. I've already checked it before. So that's 56, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to put in a 62. So, and now, and I know that that's an M6 because I've already checked it. I had to check it in order to order the right part. Now, tighten it gently, and just a little bit more than that. Don't over tighten this, it's copper, it can get damaged very easily. So now we'll put it back on. That's it, it's jetted. Once you tighten these two screws, that's it. I'll be able to put this back on the bike, and we should be able to fire up the engine and see how it goes. Now, I wouldn't rev this bike crazy. The manual for the bike originally, when it was released to the customer, said 1,000 kilometers to break in an engine. 1,000 kilometers. So if you get a new kit in and you don't wear it in right, you'll be doing this again very quickly. So I suggest slowly, and whatever you do, don't sit on the throttle for very long periods of time. Actually, the manual also says that you should never sit more than 10 minutes at full throttle. So this is what Yamaha recommends, and I wouldn't doubt them. Very intelligent people came up with this, so I wouldn't discard what they say. So that's it. Just close off that one Jubilee clip, and we should be able to fire up. Now, I'm going to move the bike so the exhaust is facing the door, so I'm not smelling it. I'm going to try and start it. So that's it, that's the full kit. I'm going to clean the spark plug, and that's it. We're going to get going. Hopefully it fires back up. That's your 70cc kit installed. Okay, so I'm going to try and start this 70cc kit. Now there's no fuel in the carb because we put the jet in, so I have to empty all the fuel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime it a few times. See it once. Now let's give it a go and see how it goes. Now there's a lot of oil in the cylinder, so it's going to be quite smoky when she starts. Bit of choke.